Hey, hello. I'm Kim Overstreet with the Emerging Brands Alliance, and I'm here today with Alex Cree of Baozza. Alex, welcome. Thank you for coming on with us. We're just here today to talk a little bit about Baozza and how you came to be and what you have going on. Tell me a little bit about you. Your brand was founded in 2016. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. And thank you for having me, Kim. Yeah, Baozi is a combination of bao buns, Chinese style bao buns with pizza. We were created and founded in 2016 in Beijing, China. My partner and I are kind of longtime, China expats. We both lived and worked in Beijing for many years, and we came together with the idea of fusing, one of our most staple kind of morning foods that we all are so used to after many years over there, which is baozi, as they say in Chinese, and fusing that with pizza. It just sounded like a cool idea. It kind of came just sort of as a joke out of thin air, but then we actually started making them, and boy, were they good. So kind of took off from there. Our original concept, funny enough, was in retail. So we had a big dream early on of trying to create a franchisable street food concept in China.
Hmm.
That was our original kind of concept for this business, and we did so. We were actually reasonably successful in our first 3.5 years. That was our focus. We were one of the first ever to do ghost kitchen delivery. That's how we got our start. We did tons of events, and then we started opening up stores. So we started with a little 24 seat store in Beijing. We finally opened up a flagship kiosk in a shopping mall in Shanghai. And then we sort of graduated that out. We had satellite delivery. We opened up our first franchise store. And then COVID hit us. So hit us before it hit the US. And, we kind of repositioned primarily to focus on wholesale. We had already started selling frozen products, and we actually
Hmm.
saw sales go up pretty dramatically in China in 2020. And by that point, we had raised a little bit of capital. We had brought Mark Cuban on board. Mark Cuban, to date, is our third largest shareholder. Not a lot
Nice.
of people know that, but we figured that ultimately we would want to bring this product back into our home country, and
Hmm.
so 2020 was the year that we got started on that, and we felt confident enough to do so. And so ever since then, we've been kind of nonstop, go go go. The U.S. has become a really big market for us. I moved back in late 2020, about 2 years ago, and we stood up co-packing, and we built five excellent flavors of our Baozzas in largely the same way that we've been doing them in China. A lot of the same techniques, a lot of the same manufacturing process, and some of our own packaging innovations, including our steamer bags. So yeah, we got
Hmm.
our start at Sprouts last summer, about a year and a half back, and today we're sold in over 4,000 retail stores nationwide here in the U.S. and another 300 or 400 over in China.
That's a lot of growth in 2 years. That's fantastic.
Cheers.
And is Mark Cuban just a good friend of yours, or were you on Shark Tank?
No, neither. We shot him a cold email, and he went all the way with us.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Fantastic. So you said that you set up a co-packaging facility, co-manufacturing when you moved to the United States. Are you doing any self-manufacturing? Is it all co-man?
100% co-man. The product that we make is a kind of a formed, steamed, frozen bao bun. Requires a lot of infrastructure, and we thought that it was important that we were, number one, able to support high amount of volume day one, and then
Hmm.
number two, we wanted to partner with facilities that had really, kind of best in class regulatory certifications, namely SQF and BRC. And of course, we, three of our SKUs have meat, whether it's pepperoni or Italian sausage or chicken. And so it was also very important that we partnered with the USDA facility. So really, from the get go, captive manufacturing really wasn't in the cards, and we've been
Hmm.
lucky to have been working with a couple of very strong partners on the co-packing side.
Hmm. Great. What are your future plans?
Sure. So Baozza is out there. It's rolling. I think the most important thing, when we look at new accounts and we look at performance and kind of navigate our way into wider distribution, I think, the most important thing that we look for is product market fit, right? Are people out there eating these and loving them and then buying them again? And, one thing we decidedly avoided was D2C. So we don't really ship online. We did a little bit early on, mostly just from an availability standpoint, so that people could try our products. But
Hmm.
really,
It's hard with the frozen product.
yeah, it's almost impossible right now. And so really, D2C was never a key priority for us. And what comes with that is a little bit of an inability to get a real detailed and granular sense of feedback from customers. So we have to try to go to customers after they've been to grocery stores and try to take the temperature that way to try and really diagnose what the public is saying about us. And, I would say at this point, the product market fit seems to be there. We are
Hmm.
really, really doing, I think, a good job of kind of our core thesis for this brand, and really what this brand is built around, and how we intend to go forward is we provide an alternative to a much better alternative than kind of some of the legacy products in what we call the pizza snacks category or subcategory. So these are pizzas. I don't think we compete with a pizza, but I think we do, in a certain sense, pair or we do see kind of hot pockets, Totinos, bagel bites, that type of stuff more as pure competition ultimately. And our thesis for this brand is to number one, provide something that just tastes better. And I think that we do. I think we've got a superior product. It's steamed, it's not baked, it's not fried. So the dough is not stale. It's nice and soft. It's nice and fluffy. It's gooey. It's cheesy. So number one, we just compete on taste. We think that we can win that game. The second is that, with our microwave steamer bag technology, we are actually probably the most convenient microwavable snack in the United States. And I don't say that like lightly. That's, I think, actually true. They come right out of
Hmm.
your freezer into the microwave. You don't open the bag. 1 minute, and boom, you don't need a paper plate. It steams, so it doesn't get residue on your finger. You can just eat it with your hands. It's a really cool product from a convenience standpoint. And then, of course, number three is our commitment to premium ingredients. We use really high quality, natural pepperoni. We use really clean ingredients across the board. We don't contain any nitrates or nitrites or anything like that. We're not functional nutrition. We're not going to, we're certainly not a kale smoothie, if you will, right? But we are a much more clean label alternative to, let's be honest, some very unhealthy things kind of in this category.
Hmm.
So across those three things, to kind of wrap your question, yeah, I think our ultimate goal is to be reasonably competitive with kind of this set, the hot pockets of the world. And I don't think we're going to dethrone hot pockets, but guess what? Chipotle didn't need to dethrone Taco Bell to be successful, and we think that there's a lot of
Good
people,
point.
and our research shows that there's a lot of people who've really walked away from some of those kind of older legacy products. Maybe we all grew up on them as kids, but you'd be hard pressed to see us eating them now. We're here to serve those people, and also kind of the younger, newer generation that just want better stuff. So that's a little bit about what
Hmm.
we're all about. And we see ourselves becoming ultimately a real staple in people's freezers across the United States.
Fantastic. So I received some interesting information about a vending machine. Tell me about that. Did you guys create that yourselves? What's the status of that? Is that something we can expect to see on every street corner someday? Because I would love to walk past one and
Yeah,
grab a Baozza.
well, it's not something we've like formally announced, but you guys can
Sorry.
certainly, no problem with you guys posting this on YouTube. The vending machine is cool. Our product and kind of the form factor of our product lends to a lot of unfair advantages, and we've been in a position to take advantage of certain things that like the hot pockets of the world can't do or wouldn't do. And this vending machine is very cool. We've been tracking this for about 3 years, including working with manufacturers not too far from our offices in China, and really understanding kind of how these things work. And we're not in the business, we're not Silicon Valley people, we're not SpaceX people, we're not designing our own machines, but we do plan on partnering. Or we have partnered with very astute manufacturing firms, and we do have something that's going to be very, very cool. Our plan for the vending machine, people ask us like, well, don't you guys have your hands full with retail? Well, actually, yes, but what we see as really the upside in vending is the ability to get our product out in front of more people. So
Hmm.
we don't have the type of product that samples well. If we were selling something that was like more bite-sized, then it would be easier for us to go do store demos. But right now, if you're going to cut them in fourths or whatever, you're gonna get tomato
Yeah.
sauce all over the place. Nobody wants to see that. And so we did feel that it was important to commit to some promotional tools that could help us widen our reach and drive trial and get people to try this product,
Mm.
and give ourselves a little bit of a branded footprint, whether that's inside of stores, potentially the Walmarts or Targets of the world, or whether that's in alternative locations where if people are walking through an airport or college campus, guess what? They're ultimately going to find themselves at the grocery store too, right? So
Hmm.
we see the vending machine as a really important opportunity to bring our brand to the street. Ever since we started
Yeah.
in Beijing, we've been all about events and going to the customer, out to the street, and getting out of the freezer, getting out of our storefront or whatever, right? And the vending machine is a great opportunity to be in hundreds of locations around the country, selling a product that would be coming out hot, in less than 30 seconds, exactly the way that you'd be eating it at home. And we think that it's just a cool tool for us, potential nice alternative sales channel for us, but
Hmm.
really just a great way to kind of build a brand and do so in a way that a lot of these other brands kind of can't really do.
Yeah. Well, I hope that takes off for you because I think it's a fantastic idea. That's a lot of opportunity there.
Cheers.
So, one question we like to ask, with as being the Emerging Brands Alliance, for there are of course many different brands and many different stages of growth. What is something that perhaps you wish you knew when you started this venture that you would tell other brands who are just now getting started? Like, what's a piece of advice that you would give?
A lot of things. Look, we've made plenty of mistakes. Every brand, the food industry, the CPG business can be. It usually, as a rule, it's pretty bloody. Nobody walks out of this without a few scars, and a very, very tiny handful of brands swing and hit the home run kind of day one. Baozza's in its sixth year. And it's taken us 6 years for the business to really start to get to scale on two continents. And so really, I'd say as far as CPG goes, one of the most important things that I would recommend brands really take the time to understand upfront is trade spend. I think that's one that certainly it took me almost a year of actually being out in the market and seeing those patterns and understanding accounts receivable and deductions, things like that, to really understand kind of the rules and the nuances there. A lot of brands, you ship $100,000 first order, right? And then, a lot of them are very surprised that they'll see maybe $10,000 back, right? Because you have
Mm-hmm.
all of your slotting, you have all of your new distribution center fees, you have time on shelf and some trade spend maybe in your first quarter. And then you have distributors withholding your cash, right? So I'd say
Mm-hmm.
that's actually a really big one. And being able to navigate that, make sure that you're capitalized to absorb that. And of course, make sure that you have a strategy to really lean into it and making sure that when you are spending on promos and things inside the grocery store, which is, in my view, the majority of what your focus should be as an entrepreneur. Social media is great. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of brands that have been built on social media, but really doing a good job at winning at that point of sale requires you to really understand trade spend and leverage it as effectively as you can. So it's not just are you running enough promos or are you running too many? It's are you running them smartly? And that takes a lot of infrastructure, even to understand that data. It takes a lot of infrastructure to really plan that and to really execute that. And so that's been a big area of focus for us. But generally speaking, for newcomers, whether it's frozen or beverage or dry grocery or anything inside of a grocery store, really understand the core essence of trade spend even before you get started.
Okay, that's a great tip. Thank you. Well, Alex, I really appreciate you giving us the time today to talk to us about your brand. We love hearing about everybody's journey. So, thank you for being with us, and we hope that you will continue to be a part of the Emerging Brands Alliance. Our next summit is going to be held in Las Vegas next year, so maybe we'll be a little bit closer to you guys. Maybe we can get you involved in that somehow, but definitely appreciate you being on today, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Kim. Looking forward to it.